So I don't know about you, but I know my brain is completely fried when all of a sudden concentrating on anything becomes almost impossibly difficult. So for me personally, what it looks like is trying to look at anything, actually focus with my eyes becomes increasingly exponentially challenging and creating more and more energy, needing more and more energy, which kind of exacerbates itself because all of a sudden checking an SMS, spending 30 minutes on my phone responding to an SMS feels like spending 30 seconds on my phone responding to an SMS feels like spending 30 minutes on a screen reading an email. And so you can imagine if I have to do a 5 minute task, like, I don't know, book at some takeaway food to be delivered to my house so that I've got something to eat tonight, all of a sudden I've spent 5 minutes looking at a screen, using my eyes to try and concentrate, which is probably the hardest thing to do in that state. And it feels like I've spent 5 hours doing work on a screen. So I used to think it was screen time itself, which was making it hard for me to do things and draining all my energy. But I've realized that it's not just the screen time, that just exacerbates the problem because if I'm tired for any reason, then looking at a screen becomes even more difficult, which gets exponentially more tired for that reason. Um, so um, this whatever. Anyway, you're gonna have to bear with me today. We're focusing on relationships because I've got my free emotional intelligence webinar coming up on the 13th of July. So you can imagine what my relationship skills are like when I can barely look at anything and listen or talk in is difficult. Forming words all of a sudden, executive functioning sort of drops off a cliff. You can imagine what trying to maintain relationships becomes like in that state. Responding to an SMS is almost impossible. Responding to a question, even in real life, can be quite challenging. So this is one of the challenges that we can face sometimes, is how to maintain relationships when sometimes those kind of things are very difficult. And ironically, for me, I actually get recharged the most by spending time with people, and being around the company of others when I'm in this state. I actually call this zombie mode because I might be here physically, like the blob of a human being is still here, but my brain has kind of shut down in a lot of its function that it can normally do reasonably easily. All of a sudden, it's quite difficult. But when I'm around other people, then they provide me with entertainment and they do things and they talk amongst themselves, especially a group of people. And I don't have to actually do anything. I can just be there if they understand that I'm probably not going to be very talkative, or I'm probably not going to be able to answer questions or anything like that you might normally expect me to do. And you can imagine in a romantic relationship as well, right? I need to be very my wife and I need to have pretty clear communication around boundaries and what can be expected and alone time and recharge time and all of that kind of stuff, so that we don't expect each other to do something that we're incapable of doing at any given moment, right? So if I'm feeling like this, then trying to engage me in a conversation and is probably not going to be rewarding for you as a person trying to get something out of me in this state. So how to manage that in a relationship is really important as well. So there'll be more videos on relationships coming up this month, which is exciting. But today there will be nothing else because it's very hard to get any productive work done when it's hard to look at a screen or think or concentrate. So I'm interested to hear what you look like, what your symptoms are, and how you know that you're at the end of your mental capacity, and what you need to do to recharge. So let us know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week.